Hi, I'm Ryan Stephen and I'm going to be cooking Sindhi curry today. It's my take on the Sindhi curry. So, any Sindhis out there, please don't jump and catch my throat because I'm not saying this is the authentic version, but I just have to point out that I had read this recipe over 2 decades ago in a really, I don't remember the name of the cookbook. It was a Sindhi cookbook, and I said, let me try it out. And the first time I tried it out, and I absolutely loved it. So I decided this is what I'm going to stick to making every time I make Sindhi curry. And everybody, my friends, my family, they all love this version of the Sindhi curry. Now I've heard versions where they use only tomato puree. I've heard versions of Sindhi curry where they use only the chane ka atta. This is an interesting version because it uses, it has no tomatoes in it. It has only lentils and lentil flour. Watch it right now. If you know anything about chane ka atta, you should also know that chane ka atta tends to absorb a lot of oil. So this particular curry needs a little extra oil. Don't scrimp on the oil because then it won't taste good. But I make sure that it's not oily either. I've got some 2 potatoes, medium-sized potatoes chopped into large cubes over here. I've got a mix of vegetables, 7 to 8 brinjals cubed into, quartered, some cluster beans, gawar, kept whole. I've got some drumsticks which I've cut into these sizes. I've kept the whole bhindi whole. I've got some tamarind pulp, a lemon-sized tamarind pulp. This is 1/3 cup of tur dal, which I've boiled and kind of without haldi or salt. I boiled and I've made a pulp, smashed it. I use 10 green chilies, but you can use 4, 5, 3, none at all. I used an inch of ginger, chopped ginger really fine. I've got curry leaves over here, and now I'm going to start this. So I've got oil going in. I'm going to be putting plenty of oil. Do not get shocked or have a mini attack over there. This should be at least about 4 to 5 tablespoons. You might need more depending on how much lentil flour you're going to use eventually. The first thing that's going to go into this is half a teaspoon fenugreek seeds. Now what I tend to do is I'll put the fenugreek seeds first because I'm putting a little more. I love the flavor of fenugreek seeds and this particular dish demands it. I tend to kind of, okay, let's put a teaspoon. I tend to cook the fenugreek seeds first because I let it go a little towards the blackish. The bitterness from it goes away, and that's my theory. For the ones who don't know what fenugreek seeds are, it's methi ka dana. Look, this color has changed now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hing. Hing is asafoetida. I'm going to put a large pinch because there's a lot of lentil and lentil flour. I've got my spice box here. Now quickly a teaspoon of mustard seeds, a teaspoon of cumin seeds. This particular part you have to be really quick, and I'm going to be putting at least about 7 tablespoons of chane ka atta. Keep the gas really low and keep frying this and stirring this continuously. You don't want the chane ka atta getting burned. Don't worry about the lumps. The lumps will also break down. You got to keep your spices ready for this one. Once this is cooked or fried really well, you will see the color changing continuously while frying it. Keep stirring it. Do not stop stirring it. It's very important to have everything ready at hand because this needs to go quickly. You cannot let anything get burnt. Okay, now I'm going to throw in half teaspoon turmeric powder. Yes, we like spicy. We've established that. So there's going to go 2.5 teaspoons of chili powder. There's nothing else going in. Now make sure you're not burning these spices. Keep stirring this quickly. Keep your lentils ready at hand because this is the point where the boiled lentils are going to go in. And yes, now keep stirring it. Some water. I am not going to get into measurements right now because water is as per your consistency. When I cook this, my family tends to go a little overboard and tends to overeat. So I am going to, there's 7 tablespoons of chane ka atta. Remember one thing, chane ka atta tends to thicken the sauce or the curry or the dal. So you need to constantly check on this and see as and when you need the water for the consistency. If you like it thick, go for it. Now I'm adding the chopped ginger and the chopped green chilies to this. Okay, keep stirring this. I'm putting some curry leaves, and I tend to be partial when I use curry leaves in this particular dish especially. I love curry leaves. I'm going to add a little water. I'm going to be very slow with the water. Note I'm not just pouring the water in. This is what it looks like. Let this whole mixture come to a good rolling boil and keep your vegetables at hand. Do not stop stirring it. You don't want those lumps to be formed. You do not want anything to touch at the bottom and get burnt, which is why you continuously stir. You need all your attention on this. I normally would make an aloo fry or aloo tuk with this, but today I'm just going to, it's going to be only Sindhi Kadhi chawal. This is boiling really well now. Now the first vegetables to go in are the vegetables that take longer to cook. So I'm going to go in with the potatoes first. Next comes in the brinjal, drumstick and the gawar cluster beans. The ladyfingers or okra or bhindi does not go in at this point. Bhindi usually takes the least amount of time to cook. So the bhindi will be the last one to go in. I've added some water, but when the vegetables kind of cook down, there's going to be some water come out of that also. Potatoes absorb salt. Use salt the way you, as much as you like, but make sure that you have seasoned this well, because now after this you will continuously, you might need to add some more water. You will be adding the tamarind pulp and the lady fingers. So make sure there's a good amount of salt. This has come to a boil. Oh my God, this smells so good. I'm just going to shut this now. Cover this and simmer the gas and let this cook for another 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to check the vegetables now. I think they're done, but I just want to reconfirm. I'm going to put a fork in. I think it's done. Now I'm going to add the bhindi or the ladyfingers and some more curry leaves. This is going to require some water for me. I'm going to wait for the bhindi to get cooked. So another 5 to 7 minutes max, depending on the quality of the bhindi. This also is done, as you can see. Now I'm going to throw in the pulp and let this cook. Yes. If you notice there's not too much oil come up, that means I had used the right amount of oil. I'm going to just add some coriander leaves to this, and I've kept some for garnish. This you know by now. I love adding coriander leaves while cooking so that the flavors are seeped in. And that's it. That's my Sindhi curry. Try it out and let me know how it went.